Let us first understand some basic concepts in order to understand this intents window here. We have a quick mind map here. So yeah, let me just. So first we have our Dialogflow agent, and it has its intents, and these intents has some concepts that we need to understand before we move further. So first there is a context, then there are some entities, then there are some actions and parameters, and there is fulfillment. And so what is a context here? So context is, as we actually discussed earlier, whenever we are in a conversation, it has a certain context, and the same word can have a different meaning in different contexts. In a very similar fashion, with every intent here, if I open it, you can see it has a context, and the context can be welcome context. So, and there is an input context and an output context here, so it defines, so just like normally we in a conversation we switch context, this is how we also can also define bots to switch context. And the other thing here is this training phrases, so we can define some training phrases here, and each phrase will have one meaning in one context and another meaning in another context, so that bot can respond accordingly. And for example, let's take a step back. If you go to McDonald's and you are placing an order, so the person who is standing on the counter is processing your words in context of taking an order, and then he's also trying to extract some parameters from your conversation. Hey, what do you want to order? You want to order a burger with fries and drinks? So it is extracting, the person is extracting some information, and same way we also want our bot to function. Hence it has this similar fashion has actions and parameter. We will come to it later, and then we have the response, and at the end we will have a fulfillment. So the basic idea of fulfillment is that, let's say you are running hotel reservation or maybe a flight reservation bot, and you need to go to your system and check if some flights are available. So only switching between the contexts and extracting actions is just not enough. We need to call to the outside world, and this is where fulfillment comes in, and we will go to it in very detail later. So hence this is like a small mind map where we know that at least when we are clear about these parameters, it will be very easy to work with Dialogflow later. And Dialogflow CI is also based on these things, although it's actually it's expensive. That this is the main reason I'm not going for it right away, but yeah, it works in a very similar manner. And then once you have trained your bot, the question comes, hey, you want your bot to be integrated in some websites. How can the other world communicate to you? You just trained something on a Python CLI or something, you want it to be integrated, and Dialogflow makes it very easy to integrate your bot in a Facebook Messenger, in a web widget. Even you can have it in your own application in an API, and there are endless other possibilities, and these all we can see here. So you can see you can even have SMS based bots, Slack, Telegram, Line, Skype, whatever, and it works a bit differently, but more or less you can use the same intents earlier. So we will take a step back now, and we will define first what is our bot that we want to work on and how will it work. Actually, professionally, there are many tools which you can use to define it, and there are people who specialize in conversation design, and it's an art in itself. For the sake of simplicity, we are not going to much detail there. I will just use a small markdown file to create a small conversation. If you don't know about markdown files, just don't worry, you will get along. It's not that difficult. So yeah, let's get a new file, and okay, so we can say bot says and user says, and I will copy it and read. Yeah. So here, so the user says hi. So the bot says, actually it's a good idea to guide user to an account, because remember we are getting the information from user in a free text mode. We have the possibility to add buttons here, but for the moment it's better to guide user as much as possible. So we'll say, welcome to our store. I can assist you to place an order. Place a pizza order. What pizza flavor do you like? So user says, I would like to order chicken pizza, and bot asks, what toppings do you like? User says mushrooms and corns, perhaps. Says, so the next thing should be, what size pizza do you want? Just says large. So actually in a realistic environment there should be many more things here. There would be drinks, there could be add-ons, desserts, bill and other things, but just to get started and keep it simple, we will keep adding things incrementally. We will just keep it here. We will just ask users what address should be delivered to, and user gives some Max Munster address, Max Munster city, and 12345 zip code, and yeah, some country. Bot says, thank you, I have placed an order for you. So yeah, actually there can be many things, but just to get started we will keep it simple here. And then here you can see that realistically at this point we would want this information to be saved in our system somewhere. So this is where we would want to get the information out of Dialogflow in our system, and this is where fulfillment comes in. And so we will take this as a small parameter and we'll try to implement it in the intents. So we have the default welcome intent, and let's see what happens when I say hi and it says, good day, what can I do for you today? But we want to change it. So you can see there are a lot of training phrases that Dialogflow has already given for us. It's like really hard work that they have saved us, and you can see there are multiple responses. So how this works is that each line here is like a response in itself. If I say hi again, it will randomly pick one of these and throw it back, but I want it to say like this, so I will place it here. And just for the sake of demonstration, good day, which pizza would you like to eat today? And I will remove the help, these other two, just to show you guys that it picks one of the response randomly. And yeah, I can delete this and I can delete this as well. I can save it. Done. The agent training will start and completed. So let me say hi. So you see I get one response and it's showing me that I am the intent is there. I didn't define a context, so there is no context, but actually I must define an outcome context. So let's say order. I define, so it's just that simple. I just wrote something and a context has been created on the fly and defined for me. I can save it. I can also add a user expression. Hi, I would like to order a pizza. Let's see. Hi. And you can immediately now recognize there is a context here which has been switched because I added it up. And now what I can do is I can go to my intents. Oh, I want to save. Now first, before navigating away, I can go to my intents and looking at my conversation, I would like to order a should create an intent. And actually it's if you are taking this context narrative, then like if you're building your narrative based on the context, then it's quite helpful to name your intents based on the context. So I will name it like in camel place, like take order. Yeah, maybe something like maybe dot take order, save. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, maybe this looks good. So the context is empty. So like you can see, it's telling us context represent the current context of the user request. This is helpful for differentiating phrases which may be vague or have different meaning depending on the user's preference, location, current page, and blah blah. So you can, there's a link to description if you want, but I would add a context. And remember, I added the output context there as order, and I would take this as an input context here. So the thing is now Dialogflow matches it. Actually Dialogflow doesn't flows quite linearly, so it's going to take something and there are some active context here. It's going to match whatever it can with the active context it have. So I already defined the output context and this is the input context here, so it will try to intent the match. And yeah, I would like to add training phrases here. So training phrase, this is where I need to go back here. So let us keep like, so like we defined up till here is like welcome context. Yeah, I'm going to just use some markdown, so maybe give them like headings. So, and this is something like order context, and yeah, this all should be the order context. And then you can say, yeah, maybe a thank you context. So once I have my things, everything that I need, I want to switch the context. So yeah, so here comes so bot says what is no, okay, these are the training phase, not bot says I would like to order chicken pizza, or user could also say as I would like to order chicken pizza with mushrooms and corns. Or user can also say I would like to have a large pizza, or user can say I would like to have a large pizza with mushrooms and corns. And yeah, this is the interesting part where it comes in. So actually I can say that I can define here an action parameter like we discussed earlier. So the parameter name is size, and the entity is it's a yeah, I think it's a custom entity. I will define the custom entity later. Yeah, let me just check it here. Dialogflow custom entities. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. So I need to define my custom entity first. So I'll go to, okay, no, I don't want to navigate away first. So first I'm going to save here. Yeah, let's come to entities later. So first we have our training phases. So yeah, actually I can, create a new entity here. And yeah, entity name is toppings. Save. So there are actually further details here, regular expressions to match the entities and fuzzy matching. Yeah, actually there's a lot that you have to try here and try out what's working, what's not, but usually it has this thing. And we can define what else here: mushrooms, corns, onions, and yeah, what else? Chili oil, perhaps. Going to save it. I'll go to back.